Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League. It's finally time to share with you that now the screen share is matched up with the amount of talking that he's done in this cast affair. That's right, I'm here with Matt, Mr. X. He's off screen right now, luckily for you. But he is here with me. Matt, how you doing today, buddy? I'm sure you're looking great, mate. Okay, no, I guess he's not here. It's going to be me. That's totally fine. Great to be back here with you, everybody. Now, of course, this was kind of teased a little bit in the pre-show, right? And we still seem to be giving people a reason to have hopium about the Washington Justice, but I want to remind everybody that the matchup against the Dallas Fuel was a bit of a tough one. Outside of that, they look really solid, really consistent. That Washington Justice squad definitely have the firepower that the fans would hope they would have brought up in the offseason. Let's have a look at their starting roster right now. Of course, it's going to be Decay, Happy, Mag, Krillin, and Opener here. And again, if you need extra hopium about this roster, then I'm sure Johnny would have helped you with how he mentioned Krillin's impact has been really excellent so far. But this team's got it all. They got everything they sort of need there. Mag, despite maybe a slower start and some weird results for this Washington Justice team, came out of last year with some of the best Reinhardt stats and Winston stats in the entire game. We know what this guy is capable of. Pure unbridled aggression is what Mag sort of went for last year, and I think with this squad to back him up, it's going to be much the same. 2-1 are the Washington Justice coming into this week. It's all on the table for them right now. If they fancy a crack, of course, at this kickoff clash. Again, I think this kind of matchup here against a team like the Paris Eternal, Matt, I think I hear you mouth breathing there, is going to be one where we're not sure how heavily they'll be tested. So what's new?
2 minutes or so?
Literally what is new?
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, what is new? Washington, yeah, they're going to be here today. They look pretty good so far. I think they talked about Decay a ton on the desk. Johnny stole your joke and you were very disappointed. That was the last thing I heard. Okay. That was the last thing I heard before my computer went completely black screen and everything faded away.
It's not my joke, all right? It doesn't take a lot of brain cells. I did it like in week 1. Said, I guess they forgot about Dre. I appreciate a good quip here. Now, Matt, you're contractually obliged to be shown on camera.
Am I?
Every time you cast. So
that's not true.
Why don't you tell us about your outfit? Because I know everyone's been wondering.
This is a very exclusive sweater here.
Yeah, okay.
It's very similar to one of my other sweaters, just in a different color. No, it's pretty good. Paris, they're going to play Washington. So this has just been chaos because as soon as that countdown video went, I saw myself freeze, and then I was like, hello, can anyone hear me? And clearly not. Don is in today as a starter, no Vistola, so we'll see Don start in that tank role. Nothing else really with the rest of the roster. Too surprising.
Yeah, so that might indicate to us, obviously Don, Winston player, played a bunch of that. Also Reinhardt's an option for this Paris team that in the past really tried to play towards that Lucio-based rush composition, the Lucio Reinhardt with the Cassidy in the mix here. So it looks like Paris are pivoting away from their previous approach, right? Less of that Zarya. They really, Matt, if you remember, tried to double down on that sort of, it was called Dirty Bubble overnight, I think, from
Dirty Bubble?
And Vicky, Dirty Bubble composition with the...
That's better than what was Johnny. He was saying it was clearly one of the lines that he didn't pay you to write. I think he was saying it was like Ghost Bubble or something like that.
Yes, Ghost, right.
Ghost
I
Bubble,
like Dirty Bubble because it's dirty. I think that was literally the justification because it's dirty. So thanks, Trid, for that one. We'll try and roll with that one and spread your wisdom here to the Western fans. Look, again, the Paris Eternal, we've been pretty unimpressed with them so far, and we've been hard on this team. Even though we know they had to pick up Wub and integrate him pretty quickly, he looked very good in that series against, what was it, New York, right? A series where Wub got to showcase what he was capable of, mostly on Route 66 when he was backed up with Vistola and the Zarya. So that was a situation where a lot of resources were being funneled in towards him on Genji or Reaper. It might be a different situation with a different main tank though, Matt.
It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens with Paris, but Paris, to give you an idea of how they started the season, they're 1-9 in terms of maps. I went on Plat Chat, everybody laughed at me where I was saying I thought that Vancouver was a bit better than Paris right now. But Paris has not looked good. We've got to see them play a little bit better here today. Maybe the change up in tank, change up in kind of what they're going to run, right? With Dawn in. Dawn, a much different player in terms of hero pool than Vistola. Maybe that'll have some better results.
Obviously, the Justice, I mean, they're the flip side of the coin in this comparison for sure. Openers looked really good on the Lucio in general, and this team looks really comfortable with Decay able to play Tracer, happy able to pick up a multitude of different picks, mostly that Soldier 76. When he's had to flex over towards a Widowmaker, it's been very exciting, very impactful. So let's see what Paris can make happen here, as this is a big change in their philosophy, their approach now to this standard comp.
And the thing with Paris, you know their supports are going to be rock solid, right? As I say, that Khan just gets blown up by Decay, and nothing he can do about that. But Khan and Jojo have done a really nice job in the games that we've been able to see thus far. Wub picks up 2 and Glister with another, so looks like Paris Eternal going to come out on top here in this first fight. But I really think, Ellie, if you're looking for like a you know, kind of bright spot for this Paris Eternal team, for me, it's definitely been the supports this far.
Absolutely. Matt, you know, I want to point out that playing in those close quarters probably benefits Wub in a big way. It's pretty hard for the Justice to keep tabs on where the Genji is because he gets so many dash resets and can get a lot of, you know, value. And also, he can tag a lot of people and give himself a higher chance of getting that assist for the reset to make him even slipperier and able to dash it much more. Now, in the more open part of the map, this route could be a little bit tougher, but Wub still seems to be up to the challenge, Matt. Another double elimination here to start this fight off, and the Justice are actually losing in these war fights.
Yeah, maybe just another week with Wub in the lineup, a switch in terms of tank and what they're deciding to play. Sends the Paris Eternal on the right track, because thus far they look great here against the Justice. You know, you'll have pretty much all of their ultimates coming online. Justice may need, it's like Decay hitting a pulse bomb here, right? That's really what kind of turns aside. They're so far behind in terms of sound barrier, though. I mean, look at this. Jojo up by like 80%. Opener just getting above 50 now. Won't have that for a very long time.
No, and there's nano boosts in this fight also to sort of account for Matthew. Oh, the stick is perfect! Glister tries to back away, but he can't quite escape. Man gonna walk up to the point now. Has a primal range available, and that is a beautiful sleep. That's what you need to see from Krillin. Wub looked like it was going to be so dangerous in the first part of the round, but that Dragon Blade absolutely fizzles. He still finds Krillin a little unaware, maybe, where the Genji might have been, or otherwise too busy. So Wub's able to sneak a bit of a freebie there, but Decay will force him off the point, and this should be the Justice now into the driver's seat.
Oh, I mean, it was a nice sleep from Krillin originally, though, right? No, he sleeps Wub, and then he's also got Dawn coming after him and able to use a biotic grenade, some help from Opener to keep him alive. So I think that's what Scott was talking a little bit about on the pre-show before I just kind of became a ghost and didn't hear anybody. He was talking about Krillin and, you know, how he's kind of been a pretty solid player for them.
Yep.
And they're going to need it, right? I think that's the thing with the Justice. You're always just worried about their supports.
There it is. Sound barrier comes down. Looks like Dawn wasn't really able to break that up with a Winston bubble at all here. So the Justice are no longer disadvantaged playing in close quarters here. Happy though finds pretty little with the tactical visor. Glister's able to get Krillin. And luckily that Decay's able to find that pulse from there. Otherwise, Paris may win in a longer fight with their Ana still standing, but they're traded out, and the Justice already had that lead. So they'll maintain control of the point now. But this next fight, we'll see both teams without any key ultimates. So it's really going to be just that raw aggression and trying to find a pick.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Nothing coming into this fight for either team, as looks like Paris, they actually want to just wrap around fast to try and take control of the point. Mac jumps in, just gets blown up, didn't have a bubble.
Yeah, I mean, Glister's playing in a pretty safe position on an off angle there. Mac has to know the Soldier's there. He's probably just hoping there was a little bit more help for him. It's possible that Decay was actually waylaid on his way to the back line, but happy finding Glister here as an opening, an opportunity. That Bionade is so big for Khan. It actually means the Justice can't follow up on that pick at all, and it looks like the Eternal will have reinforcements in time.
Yeah, it's Dawn going to be using the Primal Rage, and they're going to occupy 3 players. It'll be Mag and Decay who get on the point, as Dawn not able to make it back. It's hunted down there by Happy, as your Paris probably back off, let them take this. 60%, a little bit higher than that, and counting now for the Justice. If you're the Paris Eternal, you're still in a pretty good spot, right? You can come back, you know, one can build this blade up rather quickly. You can nano blade, you probably have a sound barrier here. You have a good chance to flip the point. All you need is one fight to go in your favor, and you win this first round.
That's another beautiful pulse bomb from Decay. Again, finds Khan. Remember, Ana's hitbox is kind of light, right? It's pretty hard to, especially if you're moving at high speed, to get that stick. Crucially nails it there. Krillin, sorry, we did see that one there. Mag, unfortunately, not able to stay alive under all that pressure. He did create a lot of space, though. They're going to have to get him into the fight pretty quickly, though. Opener may have to go back. The pre-hard case, we can't because he has sound barrier. He needs to be in the thick of things right now. Mag will be a little late, Mag.
Yeah, but they don't have anybody really stand on the point outside of Decay. This will be a nano visor from Happy. He's looking around everywhere. It looks like it's going to be a nano blade here from the Paris Eternal, but Wub not able to get anything as well.
Matt, it's Glister. I'm looking for Glister. He's so close to attack visor of his own. The support ultimates are already gone. He's going to let it go now. Khan and Mag are traded out. Glister's looking to find a way to the backline. He eventually prevails and breaks Krillin, but Decay's found his second already. There needs to be a touch here. Happy gets himself back to the point, and eventually Glister is run down. Great finish. Happy, of course, limbering up there at the end of a warm-up round. And the Justice sneak that one away.
Mitch, I feel like, though, those are the rounds that Paris Eternal has to win, right? They get off to a hot start. Washington looking a bit lifeless at the beginning of the round. They build up a big lead. And even though Washington gets back into it, like Paris, they had an ultimate advantage at times, just really need to make a play and not able to do so. But I feel like against some of these top teams, and really just kind of like the rest of the league with how Paris stands right now, if you have an advantage in some of these rounds, and there are other teams going to give you that advantage early on, you've got to secure those rounds.
I'm going to say this, though. I think Paris look much more comfortable in this.
They definitely do.
Right?
Yeah,
We've done
for
before
sure.
with Wub able to play the Genji. Wub was known as someone who played not only projectile-based DPS, but also hit scan, right? But again, we'll see what he can show us on the Tracer. So far, the Genji gets an A+ from him, Matt, even if they lost a round.
Yeah. And Don takes a ton of hits. He's not going to be able to make it out. He was so low. Just kind of going on in. They just took massive hits. From Happy and Krillin put some damage down on him. This is going to be just wipe the floor with them as Paris Eternal not even able to make it over the bridge here at the start. But once Don falls over, though, I mean, there's really nothing the rest of them can do, right?
I want to kind of talk about this because it seems like it's very hard for tanks to sort of gauge how much damage they should expect to be taking. It comes in burst, time to kill is lower, and it seems like if you take too much damage, you can't escape because Soldier Tracer just running at you just to get that extra bit of damage.
Even the Ana damage, right? Ana used in a little bit more of an offensive way at times, being able to put down damage at range. Still just kind of adds up to the tanks, which makes it pretty tough.
Well, Krillin's got a Luigi slapped upside the head by Wub, who descends upon him there. The Tracer having a decent amount of impact now. Wub is 7 and 5 final blows to death here, so he's definitely in the thick of things. I want to say, Decay is 13 final blows to death. Happy is 3 final blows. Decay is in deadly position right now.
Well, think about the first round. Like, every time he had a pulse bomb, it felt like Decay was able to get at least 1 kill with it. I mean, that is massive with how fast you get the pulse bomb. Mag jumps in right on top of Khan. That's a huge biotic grenade there from Krillin. Comes in right before he dies. Little tactical crouch action there towards the end from Happy, and it'll be the Justice taking the point.
So I want to point out that, it was 13-3 between Decay and Happy in final blows, but Happy get double Decay's damage. The Justice are focusing Darn. That's where most of Happy's damage is going, either into the Winston bubble or into Darn to put pressure on the healing. And with Dritro playing aggressive and maybe not always able to amp healing around there, Winston is a bit of a pain point right now for the Eternal. Glister, I mean, can't do anything with this. It's sound barrier to respond.
Yeah, I mean, look at the position he gets forced back to, as Paris now has to dump a sound barrier into this to try and push the Justice off of the point, and it doesn't even look like they're going to be able to do so as 2 kills come in for Washington.
Losing Glister there is absolutely devastating. In a long fight, you favor the Eternal. They get the second sound barrier. They find the first kick in their fight, but they need their Soldier 76 for that staying power. Darn has to use a Primal Rage, and all this will do will prolong the amount of time it will take for the Eternal to group up again, because they didn't have control of the point. They just wasted percentage.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. You kind of think about Overwatch 1, it was hard to stop Decay's Tracer then. You had another tank and tons of CC. Now without that, becomes even harder as they're going to get Happy out early. So that's a huge chunk of damage. Looks like Paris is going to be able to capitalize.
Opener there just getting felled. Sleep Dart means that he can't really juke any more of that damage. And it looks like the Justice are happy to cede control for now. Look, both teams obviously having used those sound barriers in the previous fights means it's going to be probably 2 fights until we see the next one. All eyes should be on where Khan sends this Nano, and if Decay can get a pick on Khan,
I'd also say look out for Krillin's hit few big biotic grenades, because when the Paris Eternal just kind of come on in and rush towards the Justice, they leave themselves open to that. Paris got hit with a few times.
Yeah, tough to get more than one person with how Paris is positioning unless you're going towards Khan's position, just because obviously the soldier will sit on top of the Ana in situations like this. There it is, Khan gets eliminated early on. The mana boost went towards Dart, but who is he protecting? His entire backline is dead. So Khan obviously saving that for the Winston just to maybe create some peel opportunities for the backline. The backline just vaporized before they could get anything done there. That's a sequencing issue for the Eternal. It's going to cost them this fight.
And it's something that they're just not, whether they know it's coming or they don't realize it, but that's like the second fight in a row, at least, or second fight on this point where the Justice have set up and execute to just send Mag in right on top of Khan. They've been able to take him out within seconds. Decay lurking with his pulse bomb. Could put away the map.
Needs Khan. Has to get the Ana here. So he'll just draw some attention back, and then the timing was perfect. Shuffled bag dove in, and there it is. That's absolutely beautiful from Decay. He doesn't miss, Matt.
Yeah, for a second it looked like it was going to be both supports, but Drinjo actually has above a sound barrier. Keep himself alive as things are not looking good for the Paris Eternal.
I mean, this is a disgusting performance from Decay. I think Johnny was right when he said a message to the Decay haters out there. 19 final blows, 2 deaths. Now, not quite deadlift because the Justice ended up with 40 kills over the entirety of the round, but that is disgusting. That is what they're going to leverage to try and put themselves in playoff contention this year. But for now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Justice look well-oiled and very deadly.
Yeah, you keep getting this type of play from the supports of the Washington Justice. You feel really good about what you're going to get game to game from Happy, Mag, and Decay as they kick things off with a 1-0 lead against the Eternal.
Yeah, Paris obviously finding some form with a bit of a different format, right? The Winston, the Genji comp suits them well, but they're going up against a team that's really internalized this composition over the first few weeks of the Overwatch League. Going to have to get up early in the morning to beat them at their own game. Stick around, everybody. The Paris Eternal need to pump the goods. Washington Justice putting on some great watch parties over at their venue, the Washington Justice HQ. Among those in attendance last week was the Madeira All-Girls Overwatch team from the Madeira School, an all-girls prep school in Washington, D.C. Great to see a little bit of fan excitement, and there's plenty to be excited about with this team right now, Matthew. Yeah, they dropped a match to the Dallas Fuel, but man, that happens to the best, literally.
Yeah, Washington's got to be excited about the Justice. I mean, the rest of their sports teams are terrible, so... And the Justice, they're playing quite good right now. They look not terrible.
For all we know, the Madeira All-Girls Overwatch team is probably pretty sick as well.
They probably own too. Yeah.
I'm saying man, maybe like, traditional sports in Washington State.
But that's what I'm saying. Football, basketball, it's not it for Washington.
Who are they
They're Justice Town.
Now? They're the Commanders. They're the Commanders.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, well, they've already taken
they lose to the Giants. They lose to the Giants. That should tell you where they are. Kings Row. I'm a Giants fan. I mean, we're terrible as well. Kings Row coming up next. I wonder, Don in the kind of like past, right, is like been, I guess you would kind of categorize as like a main tank, as Overwatch 2. You don't really kind of have like main and off tank anymore.
Right, but yes.
I wonder if you kind of take a page out of the London Spitfire book a little bit. Maybe try some Reinhardt. I mean, at this point for the Paris Eternal, why not? Why not?
Because it sucks to watch. It is actually bone-hurtingly boring to watch Reinhardt. What's wrong with you? What? No, give me Winston. Give me fuel. Give me fire. No, give me some dive, man. You know what I mean? I want to see them master this comp. Why not? I mean, when you got Glister and Wub who seem to be like, what are we going to do? Put Wub on May?
I mean, like,
hold M1 for a bit, homie.
Be fair.
For the boys.
Be fair. The future of the game looks very much in kind of like where the meta is going, looks to be a little bit more in terms of like heroes that have tons of mobility and can go around, right? Which like would lead you to say like Winston and heroes like that. But I think London has proven there is a spot for compositions that include a Reinhardt May.
It's Reinhardt.
Johnny's about to come into our channel and start screaming here in a second. You can give her some respect.
He's more of a boomer than me. Friggin' holidays in Nantucket, man. What do you want me to say? Krillin? Yep. Party grenade connecting there. Good open from the Paris Eternal and applying pressure to the backline as they need to. Now the Justice don't really have the speed to get them out. Luckily, they're already out the door.
In Paris, I mean, they should be pretty decent at this type of comp, right? Like, Wub seems really comfortable on the Genji. We know what Glister can do on hit scan, although, like, the Glister that we saw with, like, London, we didn't really see with the Shock, and then, I know, really haven't seen that much early on here with the Eternal, so something to keep an eye on as the season goes on. Glister gets taken out by Opener here to kick things off. That's not great, but no, I think it's just maybe just kind of getting things in line with, like, timing and coordination with this team, because the supports have looked really good. You have talent in terms of DPS, just not putting it together as the Justice, they lose that first fight. They come in with the second one, though, blistering speed, taking players out. Should be enough to take point A. I
mean, you lost your loose end in Glister, and then the Paris Eternal down a player. They grouped up and tried to play it a line of sight because they don't have a Soldier 76 to match Happy, and then they just get hit with a fat biotic grenade and get run over. That's the risk, right, of grouping up. If you're down a player, you can make yourself more susceptible to that.
Yes, Paris, they don't want to take a fight to try and even stop that A point because they don't want to lose players and really fall behind here. So you go in towards the second stage of the map. So they're going to play this archway really close. Decay with a pulse bomb. Where is he going to be going towards? Just trying to find a sightline, basically. Every time, man.
The stick rate must be insane. Or maybe we can dig out the stat on that one for this match so far. I'll ask the crew. Glister. Decay had to let that one go. As he needed a bit of a...
Every time, I mean, just think about like how much we've talked about in Overwatch 2, where it matters so much more, that first pick in fights. And just to be able to have your Tracer who can get a pulse bomb relatively fast, like it feels like faster than some of like the other ultimates, just go in and get one every single time and turn that in your team's favor. It's just an enormous thing to have.
Sleep dart there. I think Krillin just had to hold out under the pressure for a time. Oh, that's so cheeky. Can't let the point finish off Decay after he slept him, but it was actually Glister that helped out. So still pick there for Paris. Washington, though, not showing any signs of slowing down. And Darn's Primal, doesn't get much value.
Yeah, it doesn't get much. consider trying to fight this again if you're the Eternal and use Sound Barrier into this?
Yeah,
you're falling way far behind. It looks like they're getting set up with Attack Visor as well.
Okay, so the Attack Visor forces the Winston bubble here from Mag pretty quickly. That's now expired, so Mag goes for the Primal Rage, trying to make it hard.
They're going to have a Sound Barrier of their own. Yeah.
Oh, okay, man, I don't know about that one. Yeah, so Dan obviously gets a little caught out on his own. It looked like Glister didn't want to peek out any further and put any more pressure on the backline of the Justice there. I don't know, that's tough. He was forced to keep his head down. The Justice had like these long sight lines, so they could just punish anyone who tried to contest, really.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like every time you're seeing the first kill of these fights come out from the Washington Justice. So that time, Paris and Turtle try like engage with their Attack Visor, try and get them off of the point, but you know, Mag with a Primal Rage, the first kill on Adon is huge. This Decay with another Pulse Bomb. We'll see if he can start things off yet again with the kill. This will be a Sound Barrier to counteract the Dragon Blade that comes in from Wood, but he's getting chased around. He's going to die.
Yeah, no, had nowhere to go there, really. You realize the only target he could approach Matt was Decay. Decay could just blink away if the blade ever got too close there. He was caught out in the open. Not ideal at all. Done pretty close to get another Primal. It's definitely been involved.
They gotta be careful if they stack up in this corner. If they stack up in this corner and that Pulse Bomb comes out, it could be dangerous. As Wub is now in the Widowmaker here. Looking for his headshot after headshot moment.
Yeah, we need more of those.
Back on the Tracer.
So Mag definitely wants to control this high ground, and letting Dan play from there is just a really bad idea. It's a great way to just throw away 90 seconds or more.
Washington's just trying to farm up this Nano. Yeah, Nano, Visor, Primal. Yeah, you have still finish this off.
Oh, he bubbled so well. Oh my goodness, done with the barriers. Okay, nicely done there. Happy not able to get away despite Krillin's best efforts. So frustrating sometimes as a flex support or an artist specifically to play against Winston because you can't heal your front line.
And maybe they would have invested more into that, the Justice, but it was a big biotic grenade that came in from Khan right as that fight started to kick off, which potentially even saves the Eternal from the Justice going in, completing the map. We're going to have an Ashe play. So there was some Ashe played in APAC. We've not seen a ton of it thus far in NA.
Yeah, we saw like Ashe Torb on defense on Midtown. So Decay is 5 out of 6 pom-pom sticks for this series. He's looking for his 6th. Just to get sort of open already though, I kind of like sort of taking the initiative in this fight, Matt. Popping, again, you're popping the Attack Visor when you know that Mag is thrown down in bubble, or if the enemy Winston's primaling. Nicely done by Glister.
Yes, now Paris is starting to like control the pace of the game. Where instead of Washington just dictating when the fights are going to happen and how, Paris taking it into their own hands a little bit. The Ashe pick is good at range, but like the consistent damage is not there.
Look at how Eternal are playing though, Matt. They're not just giving up this corner anymore. You know, some teams just play around the corner and just sort of sit back. They keep pushing up here, they keep prodding because they don't want to allow Happy to sort of settle in to a rhythm where he has like this, you know, this nice little mid to long range setup on him. Especially if you can like headshot down once or twice, like you can't dive anymore, all of a sudden you just have to run away. Really bad.
Glister there, that's huge. And now he can like, the thing with the Ashe is you can get this high ground, right? And in this type of situation where you're back to your spawn, this is the type of sightline the Ashe wants.
They did use the beat for this though, in fairness. Dan goes in with Primal, tries to create some spacing, and there it is, 6 out of 7 sticks for Decay so far. You can't do much about his Ashe right now. It's very bad. The most you can do is get Khan to try and apply pressure to Happy, but he's busy trying to keep people popped up on the card. Happy wants to try and get closer, probably get dynamite value or an environmental kill with that coach gun, so he can play a little closer here, but this is over.
You know what? It could have been way worse, though, for Paris Eternal, right? They started to come alive here towards the end of the map, put together like 2 or 3 good defensive stands. I don't think the Ashe made the difference in terms of getting over the line for the Justice. I think it just made things a little bit easier.
I also think that, you know, Happy might be playing for a situation where if he's going to be generating an ultimate, he wants to be able to disrupt or to sort of pressure the card or to force people to sort of, you know, jump on and contest a little bit. So Bob obviously gives you a little bit of flexibility there, and you can really stop an enemy main taking their tracks, right, if you can actually connect that. I think it's really 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in some ways. There are obviously some crucial parts like, you have good burst damage, right? So instead of having to contend with the enemy Ana's healing as your Soldier 76 trying to work the enemy tank down, a couple of headshots and that tank can't dive you anymore. All of a sudden, he has to give up all the space, especially that high ground, and then you can sort of transition there. That might be one of the reasons why he made that switch there, but I'd say it's niche at best right now.
Yeah, I would agree. Think some maps maybe where you want to get that high ground a little bit, and you can get the Ashe up there. It's a better pick than, let's say, like a Widowmaker or a Hanzo in terms of the consistent damage. And
Widow gets ruined by Winston Bubble, right? Just absolutely ruined. I think I think the Winston Bubble use is probably one of the most interesting parts of this metagame because it can break up Ana healing and sound barrier. So you get like really clever tech at times from Winston players who know when to deploy those. And if they get deployed, if they get forced too early, then you can see your opponents take advantage of that. So I always try and watch it.
It's something we haven't seen in Owl Overwatch Esports in a really long time, right? Yeah. It's like it's been so dominated so much by death balls. Decay takes out Khan again.
Nice by one. That's beautiful.
Khan and Decay are not going to be friends, considering how many times Decay has killed him at the start of the
I actually think we haven't seen this kind of play since Triple DTS, since Rogue actually sort of pioneered the Winston.
I was going to say
Cassidy.
Even like before, we haven't seen this stuff even like before Overwatch League would be the time, right? Because you remember like. There were lots of plays where you could even, break line of sight with different types of bubbles, Zarya as well.
We had like at times teams
stuff with
I just don't think Dive has been. I mean Genji, right? Genji's just been pretty weak for a while. Overwatch is sort of too niche, but. That being said, we see these comps at the cost of like seeing a lot of Zen or a lot of that sort of like Cassidy-based sort of setups here. Sojourn as well, but I mean she's getting buffed and we probably will see her peak in, especially in our sort of second stage. But back to the game at hand. Paris get a really good early take at its one. Dives into that back right corner, finds that Ana, and then gets the finish on the Soldier. So the dive is good for the Eternal. Makes you wonder why the heck they were experimenting with Zarya at all. This looks really fluid for them.
Well, it's something that some teams talked about was that the Zarya was pretty prevalent in APAC, and it definitely was. We saw like all night in the East is Decay.
Also, hope everyone's keeping count at home. That's another. Man, 7 of 8.
To just be able to get a first pick in a fight like that is just so massive. I mean, that's one where the Paris Eternal end up using their nano, right? And they're going to lose it straight away.
Sorry, happy they're waiting on the Winston. I don't know if you realized that I think that Krillin was a little low and needed some time to be healed up by opener, but I don't suppose it's enough.
He's in the zone. He doesn't even know Krillin's dead.
Teammate? Like, what's that? So
Decay's in a good spot here, though.
Yeah, Decay opens that fight, I think, by finding Khan. It gets stretched out a little bit there, but as soon as you get that pulse kill on the Ana, it's over, right? There's no sleep dart to stop your Winston. There's no healing throughput. I love this flank angle from Blister. But the Justice have Mag to sort of stick in his face right now, and Mag, well, he gets nanoed, so a lot of damage there, and he's got himself into the back line already.
But, like, what's the plan there with that visor, right? Like, if you're not going to go and assist Glister in any way, he's just going to get dove and killed. I could understand using it in that way if you're trying to set up, like, hey, we can pull Mag away, right, and then maybe we go in with our blade, and there's no displacement there from like a Winston or something. Maybe we.
I don't think they expect a nano Winston. I don't think they expect Mag to get that nano boost and be a bit more of a lethal threat to the Soldier as opposed to something that happens to run away from, right? Maybe they're hoping to force a sound barrier. The fact that they didn't probably. It hurts a little bit. They would have loved to have this fight like a nano blade into like a sound barrier in this team, but now once Sword is a little
pulse bomb again, so
yeah, I mean. Can they count on that? I guess is the question. Can't aware of it.
Can't alive, please, Paris.
Yeah, I mean, Decay definitely is looking right now. He's at the top right of your screen. Okay!
Oh, there we go.
All right, Decay can't hit them all apparently. He does attract a lot of attention back towards that cart. And Dana's put to sleep right now. So the Justice have some time to regroup, but it might not be enough. They force the sound barrier. It's desperation, man.
Well, you look at that pulse bomb is the difference of it. It's the difference of the first kill in the fight. And it looks like it's going to be the difference between the Paris Eternal winning a fight and losing it as Paris, Dawn picks up a few kills and they're going to be able to take that second checkpoint.
I mean, relying on that pulse bomb from Decay is the most LeBron thing I've ever seen in Overwatch, right? You cannot. How can you count on it every fight? You must be able to win without it. And they kept a sound barrier. Even though Glister went for attack, like the Justice were in a good spot there to win, and it's getting a bit messy now.
Yeah, I mean, now the Paris Eternal, you're going to be able to get this card at least around this first corner. And hey, let's see if this blade is good.
He's going to Biomat. Can he go nearly as aggressive? No, he can't. There's nothing he can do about the damage from Mag. Great spacing again. See how Mag respects the blade, but knows he can punish a Nano Genji. Sorry, a Bio Genji.
Completely different like ultimates, and obviously kind of a skill set between heroes and like usage, but just think about how much more impactful the pulse bomb's been for the Justice, let's say, than like if they had a blade, right? Like blade, you haven't really seen like get tons of kills. This pulse bomb, be able to get it so fast, and it's resulted in so many early pickoffs.
Right, well, here's a good example of what happens when your Winston is at home. When an enemy soldier goes for that tank visor. I mean, Mag, I like it, but do they need Mag to help Decay kill an Ana? I mean, if he has a pulse bomb, maybe not. Just stick the pulse bomb, otherwise you get out. So you take a risk there.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to push this up your parents. You got to back up. You're going to need your supports. So you're not going to that much. Right, the fight is still going to take place in the same spot. You're still going to have this fight really take place in this corner as Don takes high ground. It doesn't look like the Justice really care that much. Now they're going to care as he's dived into the back.
Oh man, that was so smart from Don. He knew that Mag had to jump out because he put his bubble over Mag at low health, so Mag just had to jump out and get healing. That's pretty big brain stuff there from Don, and then he just follows up with the Primal. Excellent. I want to clap.
Really good.
You know, I actually want to clap for Paris because a lot of really very clever small decisions that turn that round in their tide.
Yeah, when they're able to keep Khan alive, and I think Don has really made an impact today. Like you mentioned, why were they running the Zarya comps? I think it's definitely been something that's prevalent in the East. Maybe they thought they could use it to their advantage here in the West. Didn't work out. They look much better with Don here on the Winston today, as 2 minutes and 23 is a great time from Paris.
Look, I kind of like the payoff there of seeing some of that Winston bubble usage, right? Or a good example, I think, is that, you know, I think Washington overcommit to trying to pick up the Ana in that second to last fight, right? Glister pops tack. They're already deep in Washington, in Paris's backline. In fact, the Glister can come out of that with three kills as a result of the tack visor is pretty huge. Glister 13 and 6 right now, so really leading the way in his team. I know you're probably getting bored of hearing it, but yeah, deadlift status presently. This is what happened. That goes over his head.
Yeah, which is kind of... I actually didn't really hate it that much at the time, to be fair. I think looking back on it, though, Decay's been able to kind of deal with Khan by himself, right? Where maybe there wasn't really that much of a need. I also think, like, the idea is probably that when Mag jumps in, he has his bubble, blocks Khan, like, healing his team at all.
Yep.
And you think if you block that, you're in a good spot. No, even if you don't kill the Ana to win that fight, I think it's just a really good play, really good timing from the Paris Eternal.
Yeah, if you consider damage mitigation as effective healing, Khan is being able to heal Blister without even line of sighting him. So the nano boost is just tough to deal with there. Okay, so Mag gets space here. How do you use this? Drop down here, harass Wub, force him to dash away. They've done that, so now even more space has been created.
Yeah, and they force Don back as well, so now you're going to have to fight in this back corner, and it's going to be yeah, nice bio grenade, and that boot from Junjo is going to keep them alive through it.
Wub though, slinking off for a time there. Both Anas hitting their sleep darts, but this is a great finisher here. This is the Eternal just having to give up space. They have no choice.
Yeah, it's that biotic grenade, right, that forces them back through their own choke. And then when Wub gets low, you have to force, like, obviously healing into him to keep him alive. And Don just around the corner, just not able to live. You have the tracer damage coming from one side, 76 from the other. Sleep point A taken for the Justice, but we're going to go into OT.
Decay hoping to find a way to wrap around here, but you know, those extremities are going to be watched very closely by Paris. They know they're up against a flank-obsessed Tracer.
Nano on both sides here.
Don's going to go here. These Ana sleep darts again, Matt, are going to take center stage in the coming moments.
I mean, why not Glister? If Mag is going to jump up, yeah, you go same play again.
Okay, so again, Mag's gone over his head and he's been put to sleep. So it's all about Glister here. The Winston bubble going to keep Happy alive for just long enough for him to push through and get Khan. But Dan's able to do with Happy, and it's a stick on Glister. Decay might have his team on his shoulders right now. Dan is so healthy though, an opener just has to run away. Decay can stall these 4 at a time, but is it enough time? Sound barrier. Catches someone back in, that's huge. Okay, Opener and Decay both get the sound barrier now, and the rest of the Justice are able to spawn back in. The Eternal had to run away.
because, you know, maybe if that sound barrier doesn't come, Don uses Primal Rage to keep that one going, but players coming off the spawn for the Justice have the advantage being close. Is Happy with the Tac Visor. Looks like he's trying to set up for some high ground here.
They know, though. They're ready for him.
Live.
No, I mean, he can't get away. He gets body blocked to a degree, I think, by Darn in that case. But it's going to be a bit primal, slept with the nano. So those ultimates not going to amount to too much there. Now, one may fall here, but it's really just Decay and Mag versus well with a primal rage. Another keystorming ultimate. This might buy enough time. Krillin won't be able to run back. Opener can taxi him in there if the Justice can stay alive long enough. But Mag's here with a bio nade. Happy is here. Tac Fires are going to be popped by Happy now. They've got to back away. Give him space, and here comes the cavalry man. Mag's healed up. He's back in the fight. Moved away, though. He just touches in time. Drudro wasn't able to end the round there, and this could go wrong. This could go pear-shaped for Paris. Pulse Bomb dropped. It's going to be Khan taken down by that one. They're trying to force the Justice away, but they don't have the HP, Matt.
Decay has been alive this entire time with Mag. One with two.
Opener able to keep him away, though. Decay stands tall. He's still alive now. Darn is healthy, but Opener, oh, he's in trouble. Needs to duck back, get the health back. He gets it just in time. Darn's shield has run out, and so may his life. 100 HP left.
They have to kill Decay.
Him off. It's just Drudro, the 1v1 on the card now. Drudro boots him away, but it's going to be a blink forward to keep Decay there and to keep the Justice in the round.
Bro.
The man is still alive.
He's been the only player alive for the Justice the entire time. Is gonna have somebody else. He's like, I'm not touching this payload anymore. Let me go make a play. Is gonna have a sound barrier here from Drudro. Maybe that's enough. It's, okay, well finds Decay. That's huge.
Still 4 players left here now for the Justice. Eternal get a sound barrier in. Glister's going to go with the tactical visor. Krillin trying to get away. Picks up the mini health pack, but it's not going to be enough to keep him on his feet here. Glister looking for the backline for the time being because Mag is still healthy and Happy is there. Forced away now to Soldier 76 for the Justice. Falls on Opener. Can't escape the scrutiny of Glister. Finally, the Justice get pushed off, but you better believe they got much more than they bargained for.
That is a lot more than they should have gotten. You know, Paris actually with some pretty good defense, but just the individual skill and plays from Mag and Decay able to just drag these fights out for so long, allowing their teams to come back. I mean, those are the type of plays that may end up winning you this map. I mean, that is huge, considering that Paris has looked so good here on King's Row. Just those individual plays, man, they just can never be able to track down Decay and Mag, as Mag was doing an excellent job like playing off of the mini almost like in the library, and then Decay was also on the other side by like the bar playing off of that health pack and recalls and being able to just kind of juggle the cart. Really strong play there from them on the Justice, but Paris Eternal, they had a lot of time in their time advantage. Still an opportunity for them to take King's Row.
I also think that, you know, playing defensive dive on King's Row is really difficult because you don't naturally get high ground. As the defending Winston, more often than not, you're probably just playing out of line of sight on the low ground, and it's your Soldier and Lucio better set up to take advantage of that. So it's a little bit weird, a little bit hard to access the enemy backline as a defending Winston because it's very clear that you're coming. You know, you just see the Winston sort of jump at you here. And what we see happen to Paris, Matt, is they just get picked off, or someone takes too much damage, and then splat, they get hit by a grenade. So if Justin pull off a full hold here, I'll be extremely impressed. Nice play on Krillin, he's in trouble. One would like to get there, but he won't get there in time.
See if you can find an opening pick here. Paris. Said, oh, they got an opener with a biotic grenade. They're going to dive in.
That is the opener, right? The opening pick, rather. All you really need to do to set that up, as long as Bot's in position to follow up and your Winston's there, it's a kill. Losing Lucio is big there because it's harder for the Justice to maneuver out of position. That's why Mag gets caught here. He can't escape. He just cannot get away. The fact that he gets Drudro is pretty insane.
Can they take the point, though? I don't know if the Justice are going to give it up that easy as they jump to the high ground. Another big biotic grenade here from Khan. That's going to connect with both supports.
That's clean from Decay, though. Follows up on a sleep dart on one. Just, you know, gets a bunch of headshots and cleans against Yon. Kills. The Justice are probably incentivized to invest here a little bit, Matt, to try and keep this going. They're worried about personnel, so they will give it up. Here comes the dive. Punishing down here is critical.
Are they going to be able to, though? So he's going to just jump down, give his team some space. Takes an alternate fire shot there from Mag. Almost takes him out as they'll have a nano boost. This could be massive here. They could really open up this first choke. Just one of the toughest parts to get to. If you're the Justice, you got to take these fights early here at this position.
All right. Death touches Decay. They know he's on the card because it was contested. I don't know if they checked that status bar at the top of the screen, though. Decay's trying to juke out the sleep here. Okay, he gets calm without the pulse bomb, which is great, but the Justice, well, as usual, without Decay, they get absolutely pounded.
Yep. They'll keep the cart moving, but I'm gonna probably have another fight here. It's like, wonder, if you're Decay, do you try and spawn kill Khan? Yeah, it looks like he was. You see?
Yeah, Dridro knows.
That's what I thought he would be doing. Yeah, Dridro knows. It's like, you got Khan, could you spawn kill him?
Alright.
And it huges.
Once again, Decay.
It's gonna touch, yeah.
Yeah, forced an early recall. I didn't have to recall. Okay, got the Mega. Nice job not recalling there, and Khan gets picked off. Okay, Goose on the flank. What could he do on a Soldier 76 from a flank angle? Nothing. He just watches his team get cut down to size. No, that's not good. He needs to get out now. If he dies here, it's all over.
You're gonna have somebody here touch the cart. More than Paris Eternal, looks like one coming in with a blade.
Yep, Sound Barrier gonna come out there as you would expect. Pulse Bomb, it's stuck to Decay, by Decay rather, and that'll be it. The Paris Eternal get out of sync with each other in the last few moments here. Try and come back in with a Doomfist, but there's only so much Dan can do, Matt.
And if you're Paris, you didn't lose this map on your offense. Your offense would have been good enough to win. It was just that fight. Remember, it was right in front of like the bar area here. You know, can you see at the end of the game where that's where it was won. It was Decay being able to stay alive with Mag, and your defense that let you down because your offense was pretty good here for Paris.
All right, so losing the map are the Paris Eternal, but looking pretty comfortable on a map that honestly we sometimes see weaker teams just get completely blown out on. That's how Kings Row tends to operate at times. Again, not being able to clear Decay off the card, and Decay being put in a position to enact an incredible individual performance is what gives the Justice the chance to sneak this away. So a third map comes up, and by no means are the Eternal out, but they're going to have to dig a little deeper. A new week means a new chance to be perfect in your Overwatch League pick'ems. And let's be honest, no one's perfect after last night over in APAC. But hey, if you missed getting your pick'ems in last night, don't worry. You have the same amount of points as those that actually submitted theirs. Be sure to make your picks every week during the Kickoff Clash Qualifiers to win cash and new prizes like OWL tokens. You can even make your picks on the OWL mobile app. That way, you can submit your picks on the day, so you have like some information as opposed to doing it at the start of the week, which is what boomed me in week 1. Also, I was making pick'ems for content, like wild ones, to try and see if I get. Look, it didn't work out, so don't do what I did. Do them day of on the mobile app.
I took the Valiant yesterday
Really?
against Charge. Look, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I mean,
you got to go all in some of these to try and win. You know, you can't just take the safe picks. So that's what the Death does. See, they got the same.
Well,
pick every day.
that's how I got behind in week 1, though, is by trying to make picks like that. But I guess it's. I mean, I'm 0 points from last night.
We need chaotic Danny back. And Danny would just take. Danny would just pick whoever.
Wait, no, but Danny is
just go for it.
Danny is contractually obliged to be a London Spitfire superfan for the rest of the season, so we might get some of that chaotic Danny. Gibraltar, going to be our next map here in this. Oh, it's a scary prospect to go up against the Washington Justice on a map that favors long-range hit scan. Oh my!
Yeah, I mean, you think about like a happy Widow with Decay on Tracer, or even like Decay on Genji. It's quite tough. Paris has looked better in this series, though, than what I think we've seen from them thus far. I think Don has made a big difference, and, you know, just kind of the heroes that he's able to play coming in. How big of a difference can it make, though, right? Can you take a map here, right? Get to push Coliseum. At that point, I think you kind of have a fair shot.
I will say that Glister had some insane individual moments on Widowmaker. In years gone by. Like, really, it wasn't last year. On the shot, he did some disgusting stuff. But, I mean, Happy maybe top 2 Widowmakers in this league. I think that's like a case you can make. I'd be interested to see if we get the dishonest comp from them. Right? Play a little bit more somber to punish Dan, but the reality is that Dan definitely has had a tough time, right? I think that's been Happy's function for most of these maps, mate, is just to pump him on the Soldier 76 full of damage and make it hard for him to stay around and actually create any sort of space. So we're out the door in the Sombra here. Not the craziest pick from Happy. We've definitely seen this before.
I'm on the payload. Got an enemy here.
Is it also just safer? Glister, very good. Widowmaker, very good hit scan. Like, instead of matching that, like, just taking advantage of being able to dive. Yep.
So that is the common spot, right? Oh, you're kidding me! Oh, the look on his face! That's dishonest! Actually dishonest! Your Honor, this man picked someone and switched to Widow after he killed the enemy Widow. I don't know what to say about that. Look, I mean, where he found Glister is a pretty common spot for defensive Widows to play.
Super's gonna have a field day with that.
Karma, dude.
Very dishonest.
Oh, man. Alright, nice bio there. Open a sleep.
What's crazy is once he went to Widowmaker, they didn't get anything. Nothing happened. It's really good to stay on Sombra and maybe actually made something out of it.
I think the cat's out of the bag now. Still, Decay is on a very wide flank right now. He'd be looking for Glister as well. That's the name of the game, really. Punish that Widowmaker as much as you can. Glister's getting harassed right now. Khan is also hit with the Biter grenade, so that's a bit scary. Yeah, he'll get chased here.
He's going to make it out to server, though. Yeah.
Mac has to climb.
Rage go.
Yeah, I mean, he gets bioed there. I don't think he wants to lose the momentum here, right? Almost where the card is. Ooh, okay. All right, nicely done by Glister. I don't think Happy even knew where that was really coming from. The fact that Glister does that, by the way, while being pressured by Decay, okay. I respect it. Nice.
Oh, nice.
Wipes a bit. Cracked with it. My God.
I mean, yeah, well, he was sick in that game that we casted the other day. Obviously, just doesn't result in a win. Putting on another pretty good performance here. Yet again, Happy gets chased down. Don going up, down, everywhere. It's Decay will drop. So good defense here from the Paris Eternal. You're going to end up having your Blade. You're going to end up having your Rally. In Infrasight to buy you time. Well, not anymore, because Happy hits a headshot here on the Glister. So maybe that's the opening if you are the Justice that you need.
Look, volatile with Widowmakers in play. Straight off the respawn, Glister pops that Infrasight just to make it so they know where Happy is going to be. Usually Widow's trying. Oh, hey, Dan just gets clapped there as he tries to drop in. That pulse bomb won't affect one, but he's in the bio, so very careful of Winston now.
ends up being like a defensive blade, just kind of standing by his support. Just
okay, blunders into a poison mine.
Oh my god. The dive and just coordination between Mag and Decay is definitely just on another level compared to like what Paris is doing. Like Paris can put together sometimes. I also think probably because what was so new, because that'll be the cart rolling on in. But the coordination and just, you know, the ability to just kind of make those plays happen so fast and seamless from Washington is just definitely on another level today compared to Paris.
Happy now's in a really comfortable spot there.
It's like a 5-band stagger.
Yes. Yeah, but look, it does mean that Paris don't have to spawn from that awkward location underneath the shuttle. Again, like Glister's giving as good as he gets here, putting a bit of pressure down. He's got 3 final blows, and I would suggest at least 2 of those have been on Happy. I mean, tough to match Happy's impact in this kind of scenario, but Glister's going to stay on this Widow. And you see that Mag's just trying to set a staging point here, far forward as he can. Glister's looking for angles. He'll be on top of the shuttle here. Khan keeping Dan topped up. No bio yet coming from Krillin there, but it's a rallying in play. Dan might need to protect Khan a little bit there because he's in a compromising position. Yeah, he gets taken down by Mag. Dan just ignores him, I guess. He's only got 1 take, so take a bite of his shield.
He's chasing opener, but obviously with some of the new stuff with Brigitte, with the bash, doesn't stun, but you can actually go pretty far. Use it for the movement, just dodges the Winston the entire time.
Yeah, you can space really well.
Yeah, that'll be the payload consistently moving here for the Justice. They're going to have their Nano. If they need, Wub was on Genji, then the Tracer, now back to Genji here. Maybe some high ground towards the end of the map.
There's the contest. Okay, look at the Glister. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. Okay, thinks maybe I can just stick down and be done with it. Oh, what's going on here? Hang on. Khan's getting the VIP treatment right now, the president. Able to avoid that pulse when it comes down. Rudra had to commit to a degree though, but it's going to be done. Sleeping right now with the rallying in play from the Paris Eternal. Good connection there from Khan though, and Decay is not getting up from that one.
No, he gets slapped. The Widowmaker comes out of the corner. They're going to pop the Infrasight here from Glister. Make sure to secure that fight. Yep, minute 35 of the clock. Still some time here for Paris to hold.
Having Infrasight in that fight, obviously crucial because, you know, a longer fight, Happy at that long range can really be punishing here. Now having to play against it means, I mean, keep an eye on Glister and see how he adjusts his positioning as soon as he hears his Infra go. Oh god, open it, shield up, so he knows it's looking at it. Immediately Glister tries to play a tighter angle away from where he knows where Widow is, but Decay gets the information straight away. Glister, this could be very dangerous. He does not have the grapple here. So he has to give up the space.
Winston in his face. Yeah, the Tracer there as well. Yeah.
He hung around a little bit after sort of realizing he wasn't getting the shoot. Maybe should have known it was a matter of time until Mag would come and sniff him out. One goes down, Happy able to pick him off the high ground here, and yeah, this is the Eternal just falling apart now. And you know what? It's actually just because Glister whiffed the grapple. It's a huge reason why this has gone so bad.
Yeah. So, oh, nice shot there from Glister. You see opener right in his face with the shield. Just looks to the side. Finishes off Decay.
Opener's like, what else do you want? I mean, I got in his face. I slapped him around a bunch. Like,
I had my shield, bro, I swear.
I guess he more attack than protect there. Yeah, these flicks, man. It's insane. There's a feeling I think in Overwatch 2, at least in the PvP beta, that like your projectile is slimmer as Widow, like getting that hit registration is a bit harder, especially through a quick-based aimer. So Happy connecting these, you know, these rapid corrections on his aim and actually connecting his shots is quite astounding.
Yeah, much different type of aiming style, I think, than you would compare to like the Glister, right?
Yeah.
Happy just with these crazy fast corrections. Well, with the blade here.
Look, I
end up working out.
I suppose I understand the decision making there. I guess because he gets the nano, he thinks he's may as well just go for it. But getting bioed in the vicinity of a Winston is a dead sentence.
I mean, you're also at a position you lose that fight. This is the spot that you're in.
Infrasight giving Mag a ton of info. Knowing where they're going to spawn from is huge when you've got Primal Rage here. No one's on a card right now. They need to deal with the threat of Dan, who's able to get rid of Krillin. Now looking towards Decay. Opener here, in position with the nano, by the way. So a lot of healing coming out from these Inspire procs, and also the durability goes a long way. Needs to give a Girl Scout cookie to someone in his back line and eventually gets run over.
Nice knockback there. So should be a few kills here for the Paris Eternal. So another opportunity for Paris Eternal to put together a strong defense and get a hold here. So looks like Decay up on the high ground. Kind of goes over the top. Going to regroup with the team. There'll be the last push for the Justice. They're not going to have anything to work with here. Don will have that primal rage to knock players back and off the point.
Dridro there positioned to keep Khan alive for as long as possible. Wow, Mag sleeping Krillin Bio. So this will slow things down for the Justice here. Decay going to be the first up to the plate, but well, he kind of recalled off the card, didn't he?
I think maybe he thought that he got the overtime kind of reset when he got up to that cover and didn't, and then when he recalled obviously realized that he didn't extend it. But still, it's a defensive hold there for the Eternal. We'll see now if their offense can back it up. Their offense was good on King's Row. It was their defense that ended up letting them down.
Yeah, I think that's a similar situation to that previous map, Matt, where, like we sort of pointed out though, I think it's kind of hard to have consistently solid defenses on Winston on this map, right? Because it's so volatile. So much depends on how the Tracer hits your backline, or if there's a Widow kill somewhere that just, I mean, what was it? Even the best laid plans don't survive contact with the enemy. I think that the sort of peak potential, especially in a 5v5 format, really can sort of throw that all for a loop. So teams will have to adapt on the fly to playing a player down in some of these scenarios, or infrasight timings as well, which we saw be very impactful, I think, there with our Widow Mirror.
Yes, we'll see the Justice on defense come out with Soldier Ash. So not going to have a flanker, just going to go with medium to long range consistent output. And we'll see how this plays into Glister on the Widow, as obviously you can outrange both of these heroes on the Widowmaker.
Attackers incoming.
Alright.
Escort the
Up goes Glister. So yeah, another Ash pick here for Happy. Gives him a bit more flexibility, I guess, if the Genji comes calling. Yeah, pretty dangerous though. Yeah, seeing Decay obviously on hit scan again. Bit of a throwback.
Also, not as much. I think the Ash is just not as much like Feast or Famine as like the Widowmaker. Like even if you're not on Widowmaker, if you're just not kind of hitting these shots and finishing players off rather quickly, even maybe you're putting down some damage. I mean, you're essentially just like a worse version of an Ash, right?
Yeah, I mean, playing it on offense with the shuttle phase can be a bit frustrating sometimes too, as you're always walking into one of 4 locations, right? So it's not like
because Ash can still get the high ground, control those high ground areas.
I like this from Mag, right? Not overcommitting to this high ground, but making it so that Eternal can't use it as a dropping off point. And getting some info as well about where they're grouped up. I think Mag catches a glimpse there of where Dridro and Khan are, so you can glean a lot about the Eternal's intentions from that info.
Okay. Dynamite hit there from Happy as he's getting close to a Bob's. Bob, not really impactful. I mean, he will make you waste a sleep dart, right? It's going to be a biotic grenade. They take out Decay as Glister behind it.
I love that. I love this position. He knows he's the Widow to sort of match him in that regard. And I guess, Decay's already on the Soldier. Yeah, finds that kill. Darn forced to drop down. He probably gets told that, there's a Brig up here, but Dridro going to run him down. Another nice biotic grenade. Khan really opening up these opportunities, Matt, by hitting these nades.
Doesn't look like the Justice will contest here, so good first point offense from the Paris Eternal. Does Glister stay on this Tracer? Run Tracer Genji at this point?
Yeah, I guess it's an odd choice, but they're probably thinking, hey, we can put a lot more pressure on their backliners here. Playing double dive, DPS. It's a little hard to go upstairs. Obviously, you don't have verticality as Tracer, so Glister has to go the long way. Decay's already gone here. The Justice are out of step with each other right now, and Mag may not have healing to play, so he just crushed. Another bio, but it's Genji to follow it up.
Blade, though. Yeah, 2 kills up. You kind of got what you needed there with the Blade as Don will end up using his Primal, but Decay is going to pick up one. You still have a few players alive here. For the Justice.
Opening it out of the north there.
Yeah, the card's not really making
you're kidding
any problem.
I think that was a prediction Helix, Matt. I'm pretty sure Decay lined that Helix up with where he knew Glister would reappear. He's probably getting a bit frustrated now, I think. A lot of pressure, again, from Bob and Glister respectively, but rarely at the same time.
Yeah, the payload doesn't make a ton of progress there for Paris, even with some kills going in their favor. They're trying to get Khan. Yeah, they're trying to get Khan set up on this high ground, which is going to be tough.
Well, yeah, I think that's what that's exactly what he's trying to prevent, right?
Yeah, they're trying to deny it.
Yeah, make it harder for Dan to get to his intended target. Can't do the bio here. This is the perfect target for the Winston. And I mean, the Eternal just ignore it. They go back for the card. They're like, oh, Honor is 100% dead. We can't do a thing about that.
Yeah, I mean, what do? You're not going to be able to defend the Ana. At least get some payload progress. Like, force where these fights are going to happen into an area that you may feel favors you a bit more. Now you don't really kind of have to deal with that high ground in this area of the map where you're fighting, right? It's a little bit past that.
I think this is fine for the Paris Eternal here. Again, they always take a risk now. Again, if they try and sort of peek their head through, they're probably taking poke damage. So Khan probably needs to maintain sight lines to his flanking DPS, which is a little hard because he will want to play low ground. And on the part, Dance left here in Glister. Don't have a lot of help right now. Biotic grenade connected as well. My, that's filthy from Decay. It's reverse whack-a-mole. Pops up and absolutely slams the damage into Khan. This fell ultimately by the dynamite. And he's attacked by some good measure. Decay doesn't have a Biotic build right now. It's a little dicey. Glister starting to kick off a little bit there, and he's gotten 3. The pulse bomb to start it off. Mag's got no help at all.
Yeah, nice play there from Glister. He shows us what he's capable of on the Tracer. I also think a nice whip shot back there from Dridro. You know, the whip shot now triggers the Inspire. Being able to land that there on the Decay, who didn't have his biotic field like you mentioned, so not able to drop a healing station for himself. Allows Paris to take the second checkpoint. 3 minutes to go. See the box of victory here on your screen. So Paris can definitely do this. Coming up on some big key ultimates as well.
I like you pointing out, obviously, how much more Inspire healing is available. You can cough, basically Inspire heals your team on regular right now. A lot more throughput than people give it credit for, especially in brawl scenarios here. Here's the bomb. So in the end, it gets used to stall the card and, you know, give Mag a bit of extra staying power. Not the most exciting employment of that.
Well, I think Mag thought the Bob was going to stop. It looks like... Oh, okay. It looks like Bob got woken up there for a sec. But what I think Mag thought was that the Bob was going to hit the payload and stop there, and he was trying to jump on top of where the Bob was going to land and drop a bubble to prevent him from getting slapped.
All right, that's all we
but it looks like the Bob kind of... yeah, the Bob kind of just like kept going.
Straight out of Kami House, baby! Up force back here by the Winston. Again, looking at Decay, but then he sees his own tank sail overhead and says, well, I've got no one to die with, so back it up.
It's a nasty crossfire, though, between Decay on the 76 and
I mean,
Happy
it's the first time we've seen double hit scan, right? This season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you know, Happy
not every team
at opposite high ground. And if you go and dive that high ground and you turn your back to Ash, I mean, you are going to be in trouble.
Opener, bring some heals here. Dance left, that's huge. Yep, nicely done. Decay obviously having pushed forward a long way.
So they got this, Mitch, with 3 minutes to get from B to C here, and not even all the way to C. They've really got nothing here in Paris.
You tell me how you break this crossfire.
I mean, I actually think you're probably better off, like, kind of doing what Don was trying to do. I mean, this is a flanking Bob we're going to see here. So I liked how Don was playing it. I liked how he was getting into the back of the supports and Happy. And at that point, you're kind of like breaking line of sight with the 76. Like, I think that's your best option. It's just... you may end up taking some damage going on in, and like Don, he ends up getting slapped and just a boatload of damage, not even able to do anything when he got up.
Happy off the flank play with the Bob there. It looked like it was more for effect than it was for impact.
30 seconds.
And a fall to Glister. The Eternal's still the initiative there. Glister's found yet another one. He's really starting to fire up during this map, but it may have come a little bit too late in the day. Let's see. Primal for Mag. Opener with the rally. Oh dear, that's a pulse stick. No, opts not to go for it there is. There are other ways to deal with an Angry Winston that's airborne. Oh, a bit of backing up here. Pulse Bomb, unclear where that was really supposed to go by Glister. It doesn't quite connect. Needs a Nanoblade for one. Looking for Happy, who's going to be able to space from this one pretty comfortably. Opener though, not nearly as safe. Overtime now, but finishing the map here means that Paris will win it. And where's the touch? Nowhere to be seen. Nice job for the Paris Eternal. Really kept under the thumb in that last stage of the map, but just when the Justice take their foot off the gas, they pounce.
Yes, Paris kept it close on King's Row. That was definitely, I think, a winnable map for the Paris Eternal. They win here on Gibraltar, so Paris Eternal looking much better here today. A chance to maybe, you know, sneak into a Game 5 here against the Justice.
It's definitely possible. Paris is showing up in a big way now. Darn looking great all day in. Glister giving us some really great tracer moments here. If he wants to sort of match what Decay is capable of outputting, that's where he needs to be. That's where he really needs to start hitting that mark over the rest of this series. Stick around, everybody, and let's see if Paris can push this one to 5. Well, Matthew, I think there's a whole conversation to be had about those two different DPS setups we saw between Washington and Paris on Gibraltar, right? The double dive versus the double hit scan look and sort of which one prevailed. But I think even more importantly, right, we talked about how, you know, it's the attacking side for the Eternal that's really been yielding the best results. Tough to defend with this Winston-based setup. And again, I think their attack, they really managed to find another level, another gear at the end of Gibraltar there to snatch victory away in the last push.
It's also only week 2 with Wub, right? You had him for the matches last week. You have him now full-time, so maybe it was just more practice now. I know being able to play some of these Winston comps as well has definitely helped as we go over to Coliseum. Definitely an opportunity for the Paris Eternal to force a Game 5. This has been a much more competitive series than we've seen from them in the past few games. Because like I mentioned, they were 1-9 map count coming into this one.
Yeah, looking comfortable. Again, we mentioned at the start of the show, Paris are retooling their core composition. Before this, we had a couple of games for Stola on Zarya. They really wanted to try and, you know, get up there on the Reaper and see if that worked. And look, it was okay, but I think they had a lot of other issues. Now, though, they're able to show us, okay, hey, we have this Genji dive composition. We have a bunch more sort of viable nano boost targets here. So Khan can always get good value of this ultimate, whether it's Soldier or Genji that's ready to, or even Dan, for example. Look, I was really impressed to see that as well. Showcases Dan's ability on Winston a little bit more, and they look quite comfortable. So a good direction, right? But the execution needs to catch up with the idea, and Coliseum was an opportunity for exactly that to happen. The Eternal are fighting to force a map 5.
Yeah, we've seen teams run some different stuff here, right? We've seen like some Doomfist on Coliseum. You know, this first part of the map where you have the bot, just really long sight lines. Like, you know, maybe that's something you want to even mess around with like an Ashe with if you were the Washington Justice. We'll see what both teams decide to run though. If you're the Paris Eternal, kind of know what you're going to do, right? Stick to what's been working well in this series. There's that Winston with Wub on the Genji or Tracer, and then Glister on the 76 most of the time. And for the Justice, it looks like potentially going back to that as well.
Yeah, or, you know, this is probably a bit more of an expected look. Decay definitely appears to prefer playing Tracer. And again, that Pulse Bomb seems to be good for a guaranteed final blow right now. I think his attach rate is above 80% for his Pulse Bombs, as opposed to Dragon Blade, which is always a bit speculative. And if you get hit with a Biotic Grenade while you're blading, you probably get nothing out of that ultimate at all. So Justice looking for more guaranteed kill potential with Decay. Right now, of course, we have that exchange of pleasantries in the middle part of the map. Keep an eye on those tanks' health bars, because that's going to be the go signal.
I'm surprised they didn't go after Dawn. Really low, hit with a Biotic Grenade. They just didn't want to chase it up.
Oh, another Biotic Grenade.
Play a Biotic Grenade, yeah.
One forced out of position here. This at least allows the Justice to start with the bot. The Gliss is already flanked around. Happy was low enough there, so great coordination with the dive. Glister didn't really have to do anything. The rest of his team had already laid out the red carpet for him, but this could be a bit dangerous. Max found 3 already, and oh no, this has gone horribly wrong for Paris.
Dude, I feel like Glister loves these flanks, man. Oh, yeah. He's like he's on the flank, whether it's King's Row or start here, and you know, when it works out. But I think like the Justice have kind of gotten used to it a little bit. Like, hey, we don't see Glister for a bit. You know he's going to try and take a route behind you. Like in that time, they just push on forward. It's oh, wow, Don is going to take a thrill in here, jumping right on top of him. So that's a good pick for the Paris Eternal. Washington Justice, they back all the way out.
Yeah, they'll take that initial progress. They know if they get staggered here, I mean, they could give up the lead essentially. So Paris is going to take a while to match what the Justice were able to get to. And Washington are happy with a small lead right now. They don't see the need to overcommit. They also have natural high ground here, which is you know, really advantageous for a team with a Soldier 76 and a Winston, Decay and Pulse Bombs. A plethora of potential targets, but he still needs to make that stick. They're going to go in now as well, and that sound barrier has expired. Dridro goes down, no pulse required. Khan is not along for this world either. Mag able to chase him down.
Yeah, he's sat in the corner. He knows exactly what's about to happen. Paris ends up using sound barrier in this fight as well, Mitch. You come into this next fight for the Justice. You haven't even gotten your sound barrier yet. Not great, but you're going to have it now coming up. And you can use that to probably counteract this tack visor that's going to come down. Decay with those pulse bombs, always so dangerous. They're going to have to tax this on back in the fight, though.
Okay, tack visor immediately from Glister here. He gets the nano boost. So how do the Justice respond? By keeling over. Apparently, not a whole lot you can do about this, especially with your Winston bubble having expired. So the Eternals had the opportunity to catch Washington on the back foot, and the bot is already back in position to push.
Yeah, you're also back so late, right? With Krillin and Opener, you don't even like really build up anything meaningful towards the sound barriers. Decay gonna start things off with a headshot kill, and the Glister just burns him down. A kill here onto Don.
You think he's mad?
That'll be 2, preventing the barrier from moving any further in favor of the Eternal.
All right. Neither of these teams are really willing to take huge risks to get a ton of progress here. They kind of just want to swing like a pendulum here between these fights, which is fine.
Right, because this map has that like high ground when you get to this point. Like you see the Justice, they back up. You don't want to fight where that barrier is for them. You want to like take a fight here, get these kills, then move the barrier yet again. Because it doesn't, you don't have to fight on that high ground or going up towards that high ground.
Interesting from Opener, he speeds forward just in case Mag needs a sound barrier. Mag pops the primal anyway, so you hold on to this sound barrier. The problem is you've held on to this sound barrier for a long time. Opener wants to probably get use out of it in the next fight, otherwise him getting it out of sync with Retro doesn't really seem to be a factor. Maybe just hold on to it.
Or you're saving it for Blade, right? Maybe you're just saving it for Blade.
Well, I've had that online.
They didn't want to fight there. They fought in kind of the alleyway where the bots spawned. They win that fight for the Justice, and now they're able to get all this extra progress. And you want to push on forward. You want to sit up here on top of the bridge. You don't want to be in a position where you give up high ground to the Paris Eternal.
Well, now you get neutral ground, right? Just by backing up a little bit and then pushing the bot a little further. That's also a great spot to be Soldier 76. The objective is actually on the ground, so you get high ground if the enemy tries to engage on the objective. And there it is. You circumvent one of the most painful parts of the map by just backing up a little bit, winning a fight and pushing on. The Justice are, oh man, they are a long way ahead. And they're going to front spawn.
Yeah, push at the Overwatch League level plays so different compared to, obviously, when you're kind of just playing it in quick play or, any type of pugs where that's not really about, like, fighting on the bot consistently. It's about kind of setting up these positions where you're in a great spot to take these fights.
Yeah, exactly. It's really about playing to the map. The bot's already on the move back, so one was able to sort of... it doesn't really hurt Washington. The bot moves pretty quickly, but it does mean the Eternal get to fight in a more neutral position here over the objective again. So one allows them to sort of leverage the high ground that they naturally have as defenders once more.
Still 3 minutes to go. You have to start dumping. This is where like the Justice get a big advantage, right? Because they can't just sit here and play the neutral game, Paris Eternal. The Justice know that. They have to kind of dump into ultimates like at this point of the map, and that gives the Justice more of their own ultimates. Yeah, when they have the high ground.
So that's the first time Openers use sound barrier this entire map. It's been 5.5 minutes. Just no need for it. The blade doesn't seem to be an issue, or I think it got switched into a tracer from Love there. So perfect response. That was the best chance for Paris. Since Glister went in and got that 3K with their nano visor, having to be there for Opener is it's huge. Glister gets nothing from that ult.
And because you dump things in for Paris and you got nothing, this is like worst case scenario, right? Because like I was talking about, you dump in some ultimates, you get the bot moving your direction, and then, okay, we have to win one fight like where they have high ground and maybe we can tie this thing up. Now you're in a spot where you got to take this neutral fight where you just have a primal rage. Other team's going to have some big key ultimates. And look, the bot just stalled in neutral right now.
Yeah. Okay, just going to keep the bot in place. Bionate on Mag here. Can the Eternal capitalize? They're afraid to. They don't really want to go for it. Okay, it's a long flank. It's too long. By the time they get in position, Mag is shrugged off the Bionate and Dan just eats one himself. Now happy to...
They have to be aggressive, Paris, and just run into this buzzsaw, right? The Justice just sit back. Yeah.
They had a window to go for Mag. I think they maybe either didn't know where he was exactly, or they went to flank around the outside of the structure and try and dive him, instead of just going straight for him.
I almost thought it was a little bit of a bait.
Maybe.
Like the Justice trying to bait them in a little bit, and then that happens, right? The nano attack.
Hey, eat this bio. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Just take a little bit of damage.
Oh, there it is. That's the classic. This series is brought to you by Decay, sticking post-mortem cards behind. I mean, what is Dan doing here? Like, what are you supposed to do? You were just trying to protect your Lucio? I mean, when you try and dive into your backline and the enemy's there.
Hey, you don't want to be in this position, right? Because this is just a wide open shooting gallery for the Justice. But also, if you're the Justice, you don't even have to move the bot at this point, right? You can like, kind of get off of it, let him stall out around this corner.
They will, because every meter they get is a meter that the Eternal have to get in overtime, right? So it's still worth it. You know, because this is going to put Paris, having used 3 ults in overtime, having to push through the entire map. Paris have to win like 3 fights in a row. Minimum. Terrible spot for them to be in right now. This is one of those. Has to be perfect.
One of those fights is going to be here at the like a neutral stage of a game. Another one is going to be going up against like, I mean, another 2 are probably going up serious high ground.
You can't let them push the bot back so you can get a better spot for that second fight. That's not an option anymore. You have to like just dive head first into really disadvantageous scenarios. Decay has a pulse here.
You're the Justice. You almost get off of the bot, right, and don't contest. Like you see, they just keep dumping back and contesting, and it's just like passive. But just get off of it, force them to just run it into you.
I have no idea what happened now, but Decay just double blinked there through the back line. Hoping maybe force cooldowns. I wonder if they're tracking Dredro's sound barrier here. I'd like to hope so. Opener has his though. He's got to be a beat now. Yeah, Khan doesn't get it for whatever reason. I think it was the bubble that Mag put over the top of him there. He's super vulnerable, but it doesn't matter. Happy just says, I'll just click on whoever shows up on the screen at this point. Washington Justice, pretty clean series, all things considered, Matt. The Eternal look much improved. But there's a gulf still between these two, and the Justice are also going from strength to strength. Nice clean win here on Colosseo to wrap it up.
Yeah, Paris looked much better in this series, like you mentioned, than what we've seen from them over, you know, the past few weeks at the start of our season. I think Don made a big impact. I think Wub is like finding his footing, but the Decay Happy DPS line, man, that is a nasty combo to deal with. And I also think, you know, Krillin and Opener are playing at a pretty high level right now. The Justice could be a pretty scary team.
Yeah, looking excellent. Washington. In that map alone, Happy had the same amount of final blows as the entirety of the Paris Eternal. Paris tried to follow up on their Bionades, but you could see the difference in how effective these two teams were on using the openings created by their Ana players and converting them into fight wins. Our player of the match here, pretty safe pick in my humble opinion, is going to have to be Decay. Look, it was talked about on the desk. Can Decay go further? Can he plus ultra his team into a spot in playoffs? Right now, it's looking like an emphatic yes. His pulse bomb stick rate is frankly frightening.
It's a really good meta for the Justice right now, in terms of what people are playing here in the West with Winston, Soldier, and then Tracer. And when you have a Tracer player who is as good as Decay, you can beat anybody in the league. You show up on the day and he plays like this, you have a puncher's chance against anybody in any match. You see the pulse bomb attach rate almost 70%, and just the amount of pressure he puts on the map for the opposing team, just a huge difference maker on the game. And you really start to see, like, when you talk about like 5-on-5 and how like individual plays and stuff matter more and people can take over and really put their imprint on the game, you see it when Decay plays.
Absolutely. We keep talking about this, right? I think the theme of this meta is that getting first elimination in fights in Overwatch 2 means so much more than it ever did before. And a great way to do that is if you have someone who's efficient at delivering those pulse bombs. 2 out of 3 times that Decay has a pulse bomb, he's getting a stick, and quite often that ends up being an elimination because it's on an Ana or something like that. That's a big difference maker. In a large sample size, that's going to convert into a huge advantage for your team. Great stuff from Washington. As many people expected them to take the series away, but I'm also very pleased to see Paris start to, I think, iterate a
signs of life. Signs of life.
Exactly. As we look into this,
we got a pulse now. We got a pulse.
This, I think, is they're iterating on something that looks a lot better, much more natural for them. Yeah. Hopefully they stay in that lane, and now it's time to refine it. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. More Overwatch League coming up after the break, of course. Plenty more to be said and done here on this Friday, so don't go too far.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break, everybody. We're joined now here by Decay from Washington Justice. Decay, hello and congratulations on your win today. Decay 선수 인터뷰에 응해주셔서 너무 감사드리면서 안녕하세요. 인사 한 번만 부탁드릴게요.
안녕하세요. 워싱턴 저스티스에서 딜러를 맡고 있는 DK입니다.
Hello, everybody. My name is Decay, and I play DPS for the Washington Justice. Now, all right, let's just jump right into the interview. You're Tracer. I mean, it's always been one of the best that we had in the league, but today you popped off again, and you're the post-mortem attach rate was, I think it was like 67%. It was just crazy. I just wanted to ask you, with this season, we're now playing on Overwatch 2, 5v5. Has your playstyle changed at all on Tracer? 첫 번째 질문은 일단 뭐 DK 선수 하면 트레이서 하면 또 DK 선수가 아닐까 싶은데요. 오늘 또 굉장히 좋은 모습을 보여주셨는데 저번 시즌 뭐 그 전 시즌도 그렇고 좀 오버워치 1에서 이번 시즌에는 오버워치 2로 들어오게 되면서 5대5 이런 경쟁에서 어떻게 DK 선수의 트레이서 플레이 스타일이 좀 어떻게 바뀐 점이 있나요?
이제 5대5가 되면서 탱커 한 명이 없어지다 보니까 좀 제가 원래 뒷라인을 잡는 걸 좋아하는데 그게 안 되고 이제 좀 탱커를 좀 많이 치게 되는 그렇게 바뀐 것 같아요.
탱커가 하나가 없어서 탱커의 마지막 파트 한 번만 다시 더 부탁드릴게요. 죄송합니다.
이제 탱커가 하나가 없어가지고 본대의 힘을 더 써야 돼가지고 탱커 쪽을 많이 치게 된다.
Okay. All right. 네, 알겠습니다. All right. So the key says that because it's 5v5, there's one less tank that he has to worry about. So it's easier to focus down on tanks, and also easier for him as a DPS player and as a tracer player to output more damage and to be beneficial for the team fights. All right. Second question. This is more of a fun one for you. I feel like you are one of those players that are really good at all the heroes that you pick up. I don't know if you will answer this, but is there a DPS hero that if you have to pick one, that you are sort of uncomfortable to play, that you think you're sort of bad at? 두 번째 질문은 원래 DK 선수 하면 제가 봤을 때는 좀 이제 모든 영웅들을 좀 다 잘 다루는 선수로 좀 이렇게 보고 있는데 제가 굳이 한 영웅을 뽑자면은 좀 이렇게 이 영웅은 좀 자신 없다 하는 그런 영웅이 있나요?
거의 웬만해선 다 잘하긴 하는데 그래도 토르비오는 저의 스타일이랑은 좀 안 맞는 것 같아가지고 좀 자신이 없습니다.
Alright. I would say that usually most of all the DPS heroes I'm pretty good at, I'm pretty confident in. But if I have to choose one, I'll probably have to go with Torbjorn because it really doesn't match with my playstyle, how I play the game. Alright, Decay, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the interview. And again, congratulations on the win. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치겠고요. 오늘 인터뷰 해주셔서 너무나도 감사드립니다, DK 선수.
네, 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Thank you. Bye bye.
I thought you were going to counter wave again. Just see who can wave the longest. Right. Well, always great to hear from Decay, of course, and what a comeback that was today. I mean, that man is just made of pulse bombs at this point. Got them ready.
I think we're 67%.
Way too much.
Was ridiculous.
Yeah, like that's nightmare fuel for everyone going up against him. And now we, of course, are going to get some reinforcements in here as well to break down all the action we just got to witness between the Washington Justice as well as the Paris Eternal. And no, it might have sounded like a setup for real reinforcements are actually Costa.
I thought I was being replaced for a second. I'm like, wait, am I supposed to be here all of a sudden? But
wait, is it me?
No, I like the interview, by the way, Danny. We found the kryptonite of Decay now, which is nice. So I don't know how the teams are going to use this information, but we found it, okay? So Torb meta may be coming.
Yeah, if you can somehow force him
to get on that Torb. Yeah. Good luck.
We'll see what they make out of that, but you're doing the Lord's work by getting that inside scoop here, of course. Now, Costa, this was a really good look for both of those teams, though. I think it was really great to see the Paris Eternal stepping it up like that. I mean, Glister tried to compete with Decay for player of the match at every step of the way, that's for sure. And the likes of Don, etc. Also, they had a really good game. I think that they really stacked up well.
Yeah, I think Washington Justice 3-1 win. Obviously, you need to give praise to the Justice, but we did that in the pre-show, and everything that we said really came to light. Like, they showed the dominance that they have, both Happy and Decay. Like, Decay was just absolutely nuts on the Tracer. Like, not more needs to be said, really, about the Justice. This should start to be the staple. We'll obviously bring them up if they start underperforming. I believe in you, Justice. Please don't do that again. But the real story for me in this match was the Paris Eternal. This was not the 0-3 Paris Eternal that we've been seeing over the last 2 weekends. They actually looked quite good, and we saw that, really come to light on the Watchpoint Gibraltar when they sort of were able to show their, flexibility. Glister moves over to that Tracer, has a lot of value, and I just like how they're playing to their strengths. Wub is on that Genji. As much as Genji isn't the best hero, and you saw him have to make those adjustments from time to time, I'm glad that they didn't just be like, oh, Genji's not working, let's just go Tracer head-to-head, Wub versus Decay. Like, Wub's a great player. He's not going to be a better Tracer than Decay. And you need to know what you're going to be good at. And I think they showed that today. As much as they didn't get the win against the Washington Justice today, I think it's a much better look. And I think you will see them improving week on week as they start to get more comfortable and they find their style. So I'm just overall impressed. I think that Paris Eternal have a lot to work on, but at least some growth here, because we've seen other teams who continually struggle throughout this season thus far.
Again, it really ended up being a bit of a Decay show here, as we said, heading into this one. I mean, his Tracer was absolutely phenomenal. He was doing such a great job at getting those early pickups on Khan, for example, really opening it up, like taking that Ana out of the equation, which immediately makes them like win the team fights before they even started. And it was